Gather around, Skull Brothers and Sisters. This is Skull World, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at Skull World. I brought Janik Eckardt straight out of Twitter. Hey, Eckardt, tell me where we can find you before we get started.
You can find me on Twitter. It's my Twitter handle and name is just my name. No underscore, no numbers, no nothing. Just my name. You can find me there, and I'm writing for Vikings Territory. That's the two spots where you can find my stuff.
That's awesome. And I originally interviewed you a little over a year ago, and where I found you was Twitter, and I saw how you brought an analytical mind to things, and you really paid attention to the show. Now, if people do not know, you live in Germany. How the heck did you become a Vikings fan?
So I started watching football in 2012, and it was Adrian Peterson's prime year, and I fell in love with Adrian Peterson and just got stuck to the Vikings, and since then I'm a Vikings fan.
It wasn't that receiver Bowringer then that drew you into the
No,
league.
no, it was not.
I wonder what he's doing now. I don't know.
I think he's still
But
playing in Germany, but that's it.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of people's biggest. A lot of people became Viking fans because of Randy Moss, because of that weren't from Minnesota. Randy Moss, you had Adrian Peterson. Hopefully, there's then Justin Jefferson be the next phenomenon that we've had. We just got a rash of phenomenal players throughout the years, starting with Frank Tarkington and the Purple People Eaters to, as we went on, Chris Carter, Randy Moss, and Jesus, Diggs and Thielen, and we were always bringing in like these superstar talents. We're going to talk about the draft, so let's do that. Who in the draft you think is that can't miss, if there is such a thing, that we just got to go out and get?
If you talk about can't miss prospect, it's quite funny because some people think Drake May is a can't miss prospect, and others think he's a risky prospect and just needs years of work to put in and to be a capable player. So, but I think he's close to a can't miss prospect. I like him a lot. A quarterback from North Carolina. Yes, the size, the arm strength, the athleticism to just be good right away. Just needs to clean up some mechanical things. But if you get him, I think we're in a really good spot.
Let's you probably might be the person that I probably won't get that take again. Drake May, close to can't miss as possible, if there is such a thing, right? I don't believe in can't miss, right? But if there is such a thing, it'd be Drake May. A lot of people have us pegged for JJ McCarthy. What's your opinion of him?
So I've watched all the tape of the top quarterbacks. I'm kind of torn on McCarthy. I think people that just don't like him because he doesn't carry his team. He didn't carry his Michigan team to the title. I think they are wrong because he can do this. He can do all the stuff other people can do, and he has all the traits. He has the athleticism. He has the mind. He has a certain toughness. He can make all the throws. So I like him. I think he's a good player. Would be happy to get him, but I mean, he's not quite in the same tier as Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May.
Do you think it's a lack of experience? He's the younger player, and he just hasn't had to be the guy to lead the team. What do you think that? What do you think that is there a potential there that if he played another year, he might be that number one quarterback in the draft next year? Is that holding him back, or is there a difference in talent?
He doesn't quite have the talent. I gotta say, I'm really high on the other three dudes, so he doesn't quite get there. But I think he's just primed to be a good NFL quarterback in a year or two. He needs some time to develop still. He just turned 21, so he has that time, and if you want a guy to sit a year to develop over time, I think he is that guy.
Now, we talk about JJ McCarthy and Drake May, but I really never talk about Caleb Williams, so I'm not going to talk about him this time. I think he's going. We just obviously think he's going number one.
Yeah.
I don't think the Vikings are going to go get him. So, but Jaden Daniels, he is a phenomenal talent, athletic, and someone called him RG3 2.0. What are your and I had someone compare him to Randall Cunningham. So, what's your take on him, Jaden Daniels?
So I think he's the most fun I've had watching any tape over the years. He's
Amazing, yeah.
unbelievable. He can run, I don't know, probably 4.4. His deep pass is unbelievable. He has some of the best throws you'll ever see, to the sideline, double coverage. It's unbelievable. Now he needs to improve his consistency. He doesn't always make the right decision, but overall his talent is unbelievable.
Gotcha. And I feel the same way. I've have him as number one. I've warmed up to Drake May. I think I sold him short early on when I was looking at him. I think I was just looking at the wrong game. And then I I'm giving JJ McCarthy the benefit of the doubt because of age. And even after the combine, it's impressed me that he has a stronger arm than I thought he did
Yeah.
from watching game film, because he did throw the second fastest time on the clock. Is there any of the quarterbacks later on that if we, God forbid, missed out on those top four, let's say, because that's what it sounds like, is those guys are going in the top four. Is there a guy that you say, hey, this is a nice consolation prize?
So we've all seen Michael Penix play. He can light up any team with his arm. He just doesn't have the mobility.
Mm.
So if we somehow miss out on the top guys, and let's say we trade back and to 20, 25, whatever, and draft him, I still think we can get a solid quarterback. But I really hope the Vikings make a play for one of the top guys.
Yeah, same here. And the only reason for Penix is potentially, injury risk, and
Yeah.
two ACLs on the same knee, and the mobility. And I was hard pressed to find a highlight where it was him running.
No,
And I
he's a
found one,
true
and I was
pocket
like,
passer.
yeah. And he is in the mold of Kirk Cousins, sitting in there and just waiting the last second to take that hit. And
Yeah.
but it impresses me is that how he can still get the juice on the ball coming off his back foot. So you're right. You're completely, in my book, right about the arm talent. Now, what do you think? This if for some reason we're able to keep our second pick overall, or our round 2 pick, um, where do you think we go with that? Where should
So
we go with that?
so what we should do is get a one of the top 4 quarterbacks. If it doesn't cost the second rounder, good. If it does cost the second rounder, I don't care. So, but if we get a quarterback in the first round and still have that pick, I hope we go defensive line or edge rusher, because we just don't have anyone there.
Is there a couple of guys? Is there a few guys that are in the later or in that second tier that we could go get that make a difference that would be in the second round?
So
And one of the guys I look at is Sweat from Texas, but
yeah, someone like that. You got to remember, edge rusher and defensive lineman, they are not going to light up the scoreboard, the stat sheet in their rookie year.
right.
They always need a year or two. You see a guy like Will Anderson, I think he has 7 sacks, and that's phenomenal
I
for a
thought he was the
rookie. But
best guy. I thought he was the best defender coming out of the draft.
yeah, it's phenomenal for a rookie, but you rarely get a real game changer in the second round. But we need someone down the road who can develop into a starter, and maybe even in his rookie year. So I think we should go at someone there.
Yeah, Danielle Hunter, third round, right? And
Yeah.
lack of numbers on the stat sheet, right? Coming out of college, and you find a guy. It's amazing how we were able to find a guy like that in the third round. It's
Yeah.
it's and let's lead into that. We obviously have free agents on our team. Um, and I've known you to I my first time I interviewed you, you weren't Kirk Stan. You weren't as the kids call it, and you weren't like, hey, do or die, or you were, if we move on, we move on, right? But I see you sometimes on Twitter, um, kind of poking the bear when it comes to Kirk Cousins talk, and it is absolutely hilarious. And I wish I could write like that. My English is my number one and only language, so it's like, and I've told people, hey, if you want to if you want to do good, follow this dude on Twitter. But he's our number one free agent. He's number 2 overall in all the NFL. You could say Danielle Hunter is bigger, but the quarterback position's king. How important is it to bring him back, or is it important?
I mean, it depends on what the Vikings are going to want to do in the next season. If they think they can win a Super Bowl, they need him back. You're not going to
Well,
win a
hey,
Super
but
Bowl
I'm
with
gonna
a
stop you
rookie.
there for a second, because Kwesi did say we have a leader, we have a guy that can win the ultimate prize. So is he lying? So I'm adding that for a little flavor, and go ahead and continue.
I mean, I think they want him back, but I don't think they really want him on a 3-year deal, fully guaranteed
Right.
and stuff
Yeah,
like
of
that.
course.
If it and I would be hesitant on that too. If you give him let's say you give him a 2-year deal and guarantee those 2 years, I think you'll be fine. But can you guarantee he's going to be still that guy in 3 years? I don't think you can at age 36, coming off an injury.
Yeah, and I think people think that he was really earned a 2-year extension, honestly. But and people are worried about that second year being guaranteed. I think a lot of people would be okay with 1 year and the second year not being guaranteed.
Yeah.
But to me, that would be like, okay, that's where I can live. I can live in that 38 to 42 million dollar range per year in that 2 year. What's the breaking point for you?
I honestly don't really care about the money. I mean, you see the quarterback salaries, and
Right.
40 million ranks you
That
12 or
would put him at
something.
12 if he was
Yeah.
40 million.
So I don't care if he gets 40, 45. My breaking point would be guaranteed money in the third year. I
Right.
wouldn't do that. If you guaranteed 2 years, I think that's the maximum you can do.
And I haven't known you, even though some people have called you that, a big time Kirk stan or anything like that. I think you are very fair minded, so that's why I always wanted you to come back on. But yeah, I mean, 2 years, that is not an unheard of deal. He's had a 3-year deal, a 2-year deal, and a 1-year deal. What's another 2-year deal? He's 30. He'll be 37 by the end of that. I think that's where I thought the drop off would start for him, just because of how well he's played these last 2 years. But what does that mean to Danielle Hunter? Do you think we're waiting on Kirk to extend a Danielle Hunter or some of the other players? Is he the first domino?
It's kind of hard to predict. You could bring them all back. You could bring them both back and just you could even lower Kirk's cap hit if you bring him back. Uh, it's really crazy how you can do magic with contracts like that. But I don't think they are connected at all. Uh, Probably if Hunter leaves, he's gonna leave because he's getting more money somewhere else. Let's say Kwesi offers 22 million and he gets 26 from, I don't know, Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
I
No state
understand
income
him
tax.
taking
Yeah.
that. So I guess I think money is more a factor with Daniil than with Kirk.
and and it's odd. People would say like it's the exact opposite, that Kirk's the money hungry grubby dude
Yeah,
that
of course.
signed that 1-year extension for 35 million, which has put him 15th in the league. So into money, that guy. But yeah, I mean, what's too much, right? How much is too much, right? And I think he did offer a hometown discount last March, and we didn't go for it. And now we're here a year later, and we got just people speculating all over the place. Now, is there any other free agents on the Vikings that you feel like we should keep?
I mean, you're going to some depth players like Brandon Powell, who I think has earned the right to be back.
I
I
agree.
don't
He is
I
so
don't really
clutch.
yeah, I don't really think he's a wide receiver 3, but he's a great wide receiver 4, someone who's in the game plan if if some other player is hurt. You can rely on him to catch 3-4 passes.
What about
He
What about halfback on the tush push? Do you think he should be there?
probably not.
Yeah, I agree with you. He was a third down um, domino for us, and yeah, it was pretty clutch. He was really clutch. And what is there? Other players? There's those, the ton of free agents coming off our team. It seems.
Yeah.
Who do you think would we would benefit from bringing back other than him?
Um, let's say offensive line, Dalton Reisner. If you can get him for 5, 6, 7 million, that's a great deal. Just saw what Ezra Cleveland got
That's kind
overnight,
of set the market, right?
nine and a
Ugh.
half million. If you can get Reisner for less than that, you should keep him. If he's somewhat close, I probably would let him enter free agency. Um, Backup center Austin Schlottman, he played pretty well when he
He
was
did.
asked to, so I think you should bring him back. Tight end Johnny Munt, he's one of my favorite guys.
He was oh yeah, Johnny Mont.
He stepped
Sorry.
up
No, they
when
haven't done anything yet. I was thinking Nick Muse.
yeah,
Sorry. Johnny
he
Mont
stepped up when Hawkinson got hurt. So
really did.
yeah, so some depth players, I think we should keep some of them. Maybe even more. And it's probably more likely than keeping Kirk and Hunter.
But like for instance, are we really shallow and tiny at linebacker if we let Hicks go?
Yeah, I mean, you got two undersized guys. You got Ivan Pace and Brian Asamoah, who I like both. I think they could start even next to each other, even if Flores likes one big linebacker in his defense. But you got to fix the defensive line if you have two undersized players at linebacker.
Definitely. And honestly, Bullard and God, what was his name? He was a
Lo-
Packer.
Lowry.
Um, Lowry. I was high on him, but from tape from like 2 years earlier, and then like he was like the year before, and then with us he was just a
He's
vanishing act. I felt so.
he's just a guy.
Yeah, just a guy. Um, but Harrison Phillips, though, he put out a lot of effort this past year. You feel like it's good to, I think he's the last year of his contract, right?
Yeah.
We think we're set at him being one of the interior linemen of the, like a outside, a lot, because he was playing nose tackle a lot, and he shouldn't be there, right? He should be one of the outside. I forget what technique they would call it, but one of the DNs.
Yeah, I think he's fine as a nose tackle. But he was one of our two difference makers up front with Daniel Hunter. If someone made a play and stopped the running play at the line
It
of
was
scrimmage, you
it
knew
was
it was
him, yeah.
Hunter or Phillips.
Yeah, he did really well. I mean, Hunter is just an all-around player, and Harrison
Yeah,
Phillips, he doesn't necessarily get after the quarterback. He's had a couple of splash plays back there, but I thought he, I thought out of those two guys, well, Hunter supposedly an outside linebacker, but those guys made the difference. Now, would that help out in your opinion? Because I think Ben Lieber said this on, I think with Dusty Baker on Vikes Now said that he's more fix that off defensive line is more important than going down and get cornerbacks. Do you feel like that if we just fix that defensive line, that our cornerbacks would definitely benefit from that.
Oh, I absolutely agree. If you fix that defensive line, you can you don't have to blitz that often, and you get pressure. If you get pressure on the quarterback, it makes the job easier for the cornerbacks. So it all starts at the line of scrimmage, and you see in the playoffs teams that are strong in the trenches, they play in the championship games. You don't see bad line of scrimmage teams in the championship team games and the Super Bowl.
Now, there's two positions that seem to be like super deep in free agency this year, and one is safety. And we have a 35-year-old safety right now that is costing us a arm and a leg that we could either save up between 11 to 15 million dollars this year. Um, and I was listening to Spielman talk today on NFL radio, and what they would do is in a situation like this, would let a guy go, and if he, if he can get his money in free agency, great. But if he can't, and it was a number we were comfortable with, we'll try to bring you back. Do you think that's the situation? I think he wants to still play. Do you think that would be the situation for him?
It's tough. I mean, you can't keep him for that salary cap hit. You just can't. It's too much. And I
Right.
mean,
Just
everyone
like
loves
Thielen.
Harrison
It's a
Smith, but
Thielen situation.
it's just too much. If he takes a pay cut, great. I'd love to have him back, and his leadership to a young defense would be great. But you can't keep him for that money. Um, but we'll see. I guess in the next few
Well,
days.
and it'll be a depressed market because there are so many good
Yeah,
safeties out there. Is there a guy
absolutely.
out in free agency? You said you know a little bit about the free agent market. Is there a guy in the that's out there you think will be affordable, or hell maybe we spend a bunch of money? What do you think that is a option for us, or are we already deep enough?
I don't think we need to spend big on the safety position. You have Bynum and you have Metellus. Maybe you can get something out of Scene. I don't have high expectations
Jay
at this
Ward
point.
or
Yeah, Jay
who's
Ward
the guy
last
that
year,
we extended?
Theo Jackson.
Yeah,
He
Theo
had
Jackson. Yeah,
he had over 200 snaps last year, so
yeah.
I think you can live with that. If Harrison Smith doesn't return, you can spend like 3-4 million and get a solid veteran. I think that's about what we should do at max at that safety position.
Do you think we'd be better off getting a corner opposite of Murphy, or we're bringing in a veteran safety? What would you if you had those choices, which would you prefer? And you only
If I
could
had
get one.
if I had those two choices and have to do one, I would do cornerback. But I gotta say, we have Murphy. I think he's fine, and then you have three young guys: Evans, Booth, and Blackman.
You think
And
one of those guys will emerge?
I think you have to bet on it, because if you, let's say, you draft a cornerback early, or you sign a free agent, trade for L'Jarius Sneed, something like that, which would be awesome, by the way. L'Jarius Sneed is really good, but you basically throw in the towel on these three guys, and you paid a second, a third, and a fourth for them, and all of them have shown kind of some flashes. Booth looked pretty good when he was in the game. Blackman too. Evans had, I think, first 14 games were pretty good, and then he fell apart. So I think someone will step up, and hopefully someone will step up.
I think the bet would be it would be almost worth it to not go after the big name in that position and focus our money on edge rushers and D line, because I feel
Yeah,
like we have enough back there to where they'll just be that much better if we go and fix that D line and get after the quarterback a bit. I think we're on the pretty much the same page. I think a lot of people are on the same page. I don't think too many people want us drafting safety anymore. Seems like we're drafting the safety when we don't need a safety. But hey, do you think it's lack of corners that we played Metellus at like nickel, and We played big nickel a lot. We played three safeties a lot. Do you think it was a lack of depth at corner, or was it just
No,
more of a game plan thing?
I think it was just because he's so good. I mean, you
Mm.
just you want to find a spot for a player at that who's this good. It would be a waste of talent if you sit him on the sideline and play someone worse. So
He he tweeted today. They showed how many safeties were in free agency, and he says, "Good thing I extended last year."
yeah,
So what good timing for that dude? He would
that was
not be
such a
getting the
great
money
deal.
this year that he got last year for sure.
It was a great deal for Vikings too.
Oh yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
it,
it
it would
was
have been
good.
more expensive this year, I think.
I think I remember saying something in a video or tweeting. I'm like, "Oh yeah, our priority was safety, not Justin Jefferson, not Kirk Cousins." Was safety. Joshua tell us. Although I was happy that we did. I was happy that we extended, but I just was like, is this our priority? That we're extending the safety before these other two guys? But another position I think is pretty deep out there with high end talent, and I know people hate. Or the new trend is you don't have to spend any money on running backs. You could just put a guy in there. Well, our running game isn't the greatest. Would we benefit from actually infusing one of those free agent running backs that's out there, or should
Oh,
we, or should we just go to the draft, or should we just stick with what we got?
we would absolutely benefit from having Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, but that doesn't mean we should do it. I think you have Ty Chandler. He's I think it would be foolish to let him to enter the season with him as the only option you have. But I think he should be in the game plan. Um, that basically erases all Saquon Barkley thoughts because Saquon Barkley is basically Delvin Cook who gets 25 carries a game, and I want Chandler to be more involved than having 5 touches. So I think if you can get a second, maybe low end starter like Zach Moss from former Bill and
You're the
Colts,
second person that's brought that up.
yeah, maybe let's say a bigger back because Chandler is kind of small, like Gus Edwards, AJ Dillon. I think you should aim in that range. Someone like, of course, maybe 3, 4, 5 million.
That was
Um,
my follow up question: how much that would cost? So yeah,
yeah,
three, four
I think you
million.
can get someone like that, and of course you can. I would like to spend a mid-round pick on a running back, like a few guys there. Uh, that Braden Allen guy from Wisconsin or Bucky Irving from Oregon, someone like that.
Yep.
Yeah, you can do both.
Well, and we
Uh,
got like 2 4th round picks, I believe, and two fifths. I don't know. We have 9 picks, so there's going to be running backs down there that we could go after,
yeah,
and uh, and we got Kenny Nwango, I guess, is back, and we got rid of Madison. Unfortunately for him, but Ty Chandler, it's been kind of reported, and I kind of tended to agree. I disagreed for a while, but then I tended to agree that his blocking ability is not there yet. Like I seen him the last couple of games, like totally miss a read and just block error. And what's your feelings about him in that in like being an all down back?
I mean, pass block is kind of tough because you gotta be perfect. If you can make 20 great blocks and miss two, that's 2 fumbles. So
Right.
or 2 sacks. You gotta be perfect at it. He still needs to improve, but he's gotten better over the season. Um, I don't think you want to enter the season as with him as your only running back option. Let's say you go back to 2017 when we had Dalvin Cook, Latavius Murray, and Jerick McKinnon. When Cook went down, we still had Murray and McKinnon. And I think you should build a group like that. Let's say Chandler is McKinnon, and now you need a Latavius Murray, need that second guy. Then you're fine.
Yeah, I think short yardage and like first downs, man. I want to
Yeah,
move the pile. And we just don't do that. in the goal line, and that's why I did a video, or I talked about Derrick Henry coming to play running back for us because we struggle in the red zone, and we how many rushing touchdowns do we have? Like no, like three? I don't know. It wasn't many, but we just need to do something, which leads me into the offensive line. Is it them? Are they the problem? With the running game.
I think it's all of them. It's running backs make some bad reads, offensive line miss some blocks. Maybe O'Connell doesn't call the right plays at the right time. I think it's all of it combined. If you place all your blame on one spot, you're probably doing a disservice.
And it's funny, I asked that question differently to you, and you said the way I would ask the question normally is it KOC the running backs or the line? You literally just reversed my question for that I usually ask. I tried to do it a little differently, and yeah, dude, I think everybody says the same thing. I think because I that was been one of my pet peeve, not my pet peeves, but one of my negatives of KOC is I just don't think like the first year. I don't think he was creative. This year, I thought he was a little more creative, and there were more draw plays, and there was some little creativity there. But it's still not there yet. It's still not there yet, and he took way too long to give Ty Chandler reps. It's way too long, and I think that hurt us. I think we lost games because of that.
Yeah.
So hopefully he doesn't do that in the future. Now with the line, and I just asked you if it's their fault. Are they? And it seems like they were better at protecting the quarterback. Is that real, or is there something else? Have they improved? I think we had new offensive line coaches, right? Oh, since the Zimmer. So is that
Yeah.
is that an improvement on the offensive line, or is it fake?
Uh, Offensive line is always hard to evaluate. I think Kirk got the ball out quicker. I think O'Connell called better pass plays, better timing, and everything was just clicking in the
It
second
was
year.
more. I
We
guess
have
he
more
was.
continuity.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing this time. It was a year later because he got hit a lot. And you're right, holding on a ball. I was saying he just holds on the ball and takes that hit, and that's why he's getting hit. So I'm not blaming the line in every hit he takes because I know he's just waiting at the last second trying to have something happen. But I think I agree with you on that. That it was just the second year in an offense, and
Yeah.
everybody started clicking a little bit. But is Ed Ingram is did he legitimately improve from the previous year?
Oh, absolutely. He got a lot better. He was. I mean, he was terrible. We all saw it in his rookie year. Last year, he wasn't really an issue anymore. You didn't even notice him. He was fine.
I still saw the people running stunts on him and
Yeah.
him whiffing, or not
I
not
mean,
not even blocking somebody
I
a
mean,
few
it
times throughout the
happens.
year.
It
Yeah,
happens.
it does happen. It just seems more often to him, but I do think he improved. And I honestly, his rookie year, I was almost an apologist for him because I was like, yeah, he made these two terrible plays, but the rest of the game he was a stone wall. But God, man, those two plays cost us, or three plays, or some games were worse than others. But he is probably one of the stronger dudes on the line as far as I think if we could just um, I don't know, have a center that can handle a really excellent, nose tackle, a big dude that they're going to just put right in front of you. Um, and right now, our center $2.5 million savings if we get rid of him or let him go. And I like Schlappman. I think he's a bigger lineman. Is that an option? Is there a and there's some centers in the draft. Is that somewhere we should go in the later rounds?
I would keep Bradbury. I think he's all right. He has a couple of really bad games every year somehow. But
It's usually against a defensive tackle, nose
yeah,
tackle that
yeah, he has a
is
problem
just
with Kenny Clark from the Packers. I don't know. He just can't handle him. think he had a pass blocking grade of like 6 or something against him. Yeah, but I think he had a pretty good season. PFF numbers backed it up. So I think we should keep him. But at some point, maybe you invest at some point down the road at offensive line. I think if you're gonna draft an interior offensive line, should be a left guard because we don't have anyone there. But for now, I wouldn't. I think we have bigger needs than moving on from Bradbury.
Let me ask you this: between 2022 and 2023, did we have less talent or more talent on the defense this year or last year,
I
2023?
think we had less talent.
I agree. I
So Darius
agree, and that's why
Smith,
I want to
Dalvin
ask you:
Tomlinson.
what grade would you give Ryan Flores
Yeah,
on doing what he did with less talent?
yeah, and you saw guys just being more comfortable in the system. Harrison Smith and Jordan Hicks, they played much better in his system. Cam Bynum, they were awful in at Donald Hill's system.
Yeah, I mean, like quarterback ratings above 100, and according to some whatever that stat is. But gosh, now, I mean, it was great having you on, man, and I appreciate it. No, hopefully, you're not a stranger coming up because I'm sure I will want to ask you what you think about some of the draft picks that we're gonna you know that we're gonna bring in. But yeah, this is a big time of year. This is crazy.
Yeah,
We got Mike Florio making shit up every day, and we got we got aggregators, spreading just misinformation a lot of times, and what's true and what's not true. And I just can't wait till it's all over. I guess
yeah.
that starts Monday.
Monday, yeah.
If you put a 50-50 or 70-30 or on it, what do you think is gonna? Let's end it this way. What do you think the percentages of bringing back Kirk Cousins?
Oh, I'm not very high. Let's say 30% we bring him back. I don't think he's going to be back.
And what would it be because?
Just because of contract structure, I think he wants more guaranteed than Vikings are offering. That's
Yep.
the reports. I don't think they're going to find a deal there.
All right. 30% chance of bringing back Kirk Cousins. Let's end it there, man. I appreciate it. Skull Vikes.